And let's begin. Good morning, Manchester. Hello, and I'm Bitkarrot, and let's talk about doing beeswax on nostr. Before we start, I would like to share a link to these slides so that you can follow along. For those of you who might not know me, I've been a contributor to projects in the Lightning space before nostr, primarily as a contributor to LM-Bits and to Core Lightning. I was also the host of Nostrovia, the first nostr podcast. The three projects on the right-hand side initially started as experiments with Lightning and nostr. Plebnet.dev is a spin-off of the Plebnet Telegram group where we build Signet and Lightning nodes. Lightning Games is a fleeceware shop I set up just to test out Lightning payment integrations, and now Hivetalk. So, what is Hivetalk? The initial goal for Hivetalk was screen sharing integrated with nostr identities and the ability to zap other participants with Lightning inside of a video conference. This has evolved into two versions. The original version is Vanilla Hivetalk, and the newer version is Honey. The vanilla version supports a maximum of 100 participants, focusing solely on the client side. It's perfect for smaller, more intimate gatherings. And this was the original prototype that we released in 2024. On the other hand, the Honey version can scale up to thousands by incorporating both client and relay functionalities. Honey was built from the ground up with more nostr native features, and it was officially released in October of 2025 as an early stage working product. This version is ideal for larger events and remote groups that may have weak internet connections. One of our goals with Hivetalk Honey was to integrate with other nostr clients. So we started by extending NIP53. As some of you may know, NIP53's specification originally only covered live streaming events, which is what is seen on apps like Zap.stream. This is a one-to-many broadcast format, also known as Kind 30311. For Hivetalk, the interactive video conferencing aspect is different from streaming, so we are broadcasting to nostr using Kind 30312. In addition, we attach calendar events to the Kind 30312 so that events scheduled on Hivetalk Honey will appear on other clients such as nostrcal or Plectos. So where does Hivetalk fit into the greater nostr ecosystem? Nostr, as we know it, stands for Notes and Other Stuff. Hivetalk is part of the other stuff and is aimed at being complementary to the existing Twitter or X-style clients such as Damus, Primal, Jumble, or Amethyst. From our observations, now let's take a look at some of the small businesses thriving on Hivetalk. On the left here, we have Dave Nichols, who's an English teacher who teaches Russian on Hivetalk and gets paid with Lightning Zaps. And on the right, we have Derek Ross hosting a Shakespeare vibe coding session on Hivetalk every week to help the community learn more about an AI coding tool. Clearly, the nostr community are very busy bees. We average around 2,000 to 3,000 unique visits each month. On Hivetalk, we collect only coarse grained statistics and aim to preserve as much user privacy as possible. At the same time, we can see a wide array of the events and groups that cater to diverse international interests. Now let's dive into some of the noteworthy observations about Hivetalk. First, while Hivetalk is nostr friendly, it's not exclusively for nostr users. This allows anyone interested to join without the need for a nostr login, making it very accessible. Another key point is privacy. People have expressed a strong desire for privacy, and this is something that Hivetalk prioritizes. With this emphasis, private meetups often take precedence over public hangouts, providing a more intimate and secure environment. Finally, I would like to note the challenge of obtaining direct feedback. So if you do have any feedback for Hivetalk, please do feel free to reach out and let us know. We certainly will not sell or track your data. Ideally, we love to see more community meetups that are public and open rather than just private ones. So, Hivetalk started out as a prototype and it turned into much more than that. One of the big challenges we faced was deciding if we wanted to bootstrap from zero or get funding from grants. Currently, we just have 3 part-time volunteers, including myself. However, we feel strongly that bootstrapping is the essence of self sovereignty on a nostr network, and we want to try to make this work if possible. We also feel that our our development interests will be more aligned with everyone who's using the project. So far, Hivetalk Vanilla has been running for 18 months, and Hivetalk Honey has been in beta for 6 months. Let's dive into our current microstrategies for monetization. We're looking at a multifaceted approach to our growth and sustainability. However, the one that seems to work most effectively are timed ZAP goals. After some experimentation, we have discovered that the best goals are embedded on the website and below 100,000 sats per month. For each of our services, the ZAP goal covers our baseline bill and is a critical lifeline to keep the project operating. For those who do want to support Hivetalk a bit more, we offer badges for large donors, and we really appreciate your early support. Next, we also focus on delivering educational content. This is crucial because knowledge empowers our users and enriches their experience with our platform. Last, the pay to play features are in the planning stages. While still conceptual, these could provide additional value and engagement for users willing to invest a little more. Some areas we're considering pay to play are the ability to record and live stream to other sites. These features are on the Q1 2026 to do list. We know some users love Hivetalk so much that they spend up to 10 hours a day on the platform. While this is okay on the small scale, the economics do not work as the user base scales up, so we are still working out the details for how to manage it. So, as for monetization, we first observed that other nostr apps have had subscriptions, and they have been a bit of a tough sell in certain cases. This isn't too surprising. Second, value for value can be quite unpredictable. It can either work really well or fall flat, depending on the audience's responsiveness and engagement levels. And looking ahead, we're seeing a slower growth trend projected into 2026 on Nostr. So here's the big question: is pay to play a better option? This could potentially offer a more direct and engaging experience for our users and drive better monetization outcomes. Now let's dive into part 2, an experiment with pay to play that is indirectly related to Hivetalk but useful for the Nostr community at large. In the upcoming slides, we'll discuss the challenges of centralized directories and how decentralization might be implemented effectively. Centralized directories face a single owner problem, leading to bottleneck issues and potential bias. Nostr offers that decentralized solution, but effective implementation requires understanding how to leverage the technology. Additionally, decentralization could help mitigate spam, providing users with accurate information. One obvious example of a centralized directory is nostr.net. It is the largest Nostr apps directory and curated by one person. The entries are centralized on GitHub, and every PR has to be managed by the maintainer, or rather every pull request, that is. Over time, this can become quite the burden. We also have the risk of a single maintainer potentially leaving or disappearing, retiring, possibly dying. So you might be wondering, where can we see good advice to solve this problem? Well, the answer is really simple. Let's just ask Dad. All right, let's delve into the concept of Decentralized Autonomous Directory, or the DAD. So how would this work for a nostr app directory? Well, in order to list a new app, the app creator must zap to list. It won't be free. The amount is paid to the relay owner, and this acts as a first level of defense against spam. Each app posted to the relay is therefore owned by the app creator, and future edits are controlled by the same person, which distributes the maintenance across multiple users instead of just one maintainer in a centralized directory. App developers that have successfully posted an app to the directory then can earn zaps on their post. This not only encourages engagement, but also acts as a signal for how others have valued the app. Kind of like a rating system, but with Lightning. Next, let's talk about the relays and their web of trust. The relays here are actually pivotal as they help manage and verify data flow, ensuring that the users can trust the information they receive. Their reputation is built on their web of trust. Now, that being said, the web of trust here can take many forms and it could be relay dependent. For example, it could just be a small select group, or maybe it could be a wider group depending on how the relay decides to set its policies. For example, it might be a European only relay with a small group of moderators that curate who can or can't post listings to a directory. You'll also notice here the 1984 flag and ejected note. These elements symbolize the Web of Trust's ability to identify and remove spam or malicious content. Depending on how the relay is set up, these notes can be ejected automatically or after a certain number of flags have been made by members of the relay's Web of Trust. Okay, so here we have the first manifestation of the DAD protocol. And we named it lookup.hivetalk.org. It's live and you're free to play with it. So what it is a business directory for Hivetalk users. And you might be wondering, why did we create this? Well, we decided to create a bridge connecting traditional e-commerce with modern decentralized marketplaces on Nostr. So why would we even consider doing this? Well, think of the English teacher who teaches courses on Hivetalk. He might already have a website where he sells course material and other services. By adding a business direct listing, by adding a business listing here on this directory, he simply adds a link to his website. And if he chooses to migrate to a NIP 99 style marketplace later on, such as Plebeian Market, he can do so, but he doesn't have to do it right now. In this video, we'll see the data in action. Here's the pay to post. We just asked for a small 500 sat Lightning payment. And here's the shop. Here's the flag for 1984 flags. If someone wants to flag it as spam. And here's a link to the existing Shopify website. And here's a link to the Plebeian Market. So this makes sense. If we have existing Shopify stores that accept Lightning payments that we want to integrate with Nostr. If I have 5 items to sell, it would have been very simple to port them all over to Plebeian Market as an example. But let's say if I have a deep Shopify integration and more than 300 items, it would make a lot of sense, at least for now, to link just the market to the existing website. The lookup is available for anyone to copy and use for their own custom nostr directory. So if you want to create a special directory for just English teachers or yoga classes, you can definitely use this. A version of the lookup is also running on beta.nostr.net. Aljaz and I collaborated to push this beta version out, and eventually it will be replaced. The beta version will replace nostr.net. So right now, feel free to play with it and give us feedback. We love to hear from you, any thoughts, suggestions, and comments. And if you enjoy Hivetalk, please support the project. Again, this presentation is available at slides.hivetalk.org, as well as all of our contact information. And we are currently seeking sponsors to help support the project. Your support means the world to us. Thank you so much, everyone at Bitfest, and have a great day.